I hate to sound dramatic, but it's true. New York City does not care about bicyclists. I'm a fairly optimistic person, and I think one day in my lifetime we will be referring to New York as one of the better bicycling cities in the world. But that day, sure as hell, is not today. And in this video, I'm gonna share a few changes we need to make before we can get there. But first, how is New York City waging this war on bicyclists? Simply put, two recent changes implemented by the Adams administration have made cycling in New York City less convenient. First, in early 2025, the NYPD began giving cyclists criminal summonses for riding through red lights. For as long as I can remember, in New York City, riding through reds has been generally accepted. But this is a hotly debated topic and deserves an entire video of its own. However, whether cyclists should be running reds isn't the issue here. It's that the city is giving cyclists criminal summons, meaning they have to show up in court. On the other hand, if the driver of a motor vehicle runs a red light, they get a traffic violation. No court appearance necessary. They just pay a fine online. Why the discrepancy between the two modes of transportation? Why is the penalty for breaking the law in the heavier, faster, and more dangerous vehicle weaker than the penalty for breaking the same law on a bicycle? Now that does irk me, but what really pisses me off is that actual safety issues like double parked cars parked in the bike lane, and mopeds riding in the bike lane are simply ignored. For the past few weeks, federal DEA agents have been illegally blocking a section of the 10th Avenue bike lane. The DOT's response has been, well, there's nothing we can do about it. And unfortunately, it's not just the DOT actively skirting their responsibilities to screw over cyclists. More than 2 years ago, the state-run MTA said it would pilot a program to ticket double parkers and bike lane blockers using bus-mounted cameras. This program was supposed to be piloted in 2024. More than a year later, the public has received no update on the initiative. The DOT has launched a program to ticket cars and bus lanes, which is a good thing, but it doesn't make sense why they haven't expanded that initiative to include double parkers and bike lane blockers, as these people are also illegally blocking traffic. And those aren't the only discrepancies in law enforcement we see for cyclists versus drivers. In mid-2025, the Adams administration slowed all city e-bikes from 20 to 15 miles an hour. And in late 2025, they announced a new speed limit for all e-bikes at 15 miles an hour. An e-bike speed limit is not inherently a bad idea, but the way it is being implemented here doesn't make sense. First of all, the speed limit only applies to e-bikes, so regular bikes can still go the road speed limit. In most places, that's 25 miles an hour. Second, the previous 20 mile an hour speed cap on city e-bikes wasn't decided at random. The actual experts decided upon 20 miles an hour because they concluded that'd be a safe speed for cyclists, so they could still keep up with car traffic if necessary. Because, as I've mentioned before, the New York City bike lane network is notorious for being safe and protected to only a few blocks later dump you off on a 4-lane road with no bike infrastructure whatsoever. And lastly, the road speed limit is still 25 miles an hour. Which means that cars and trucks, which are thousands of pounds heavier and statistically more deadly, are still going almost twice as fast as e-bikes. So why is the Adams administration actively making it less convenient to use one of the fastest and safest and most environmentally friendly modes of transport? They'd say it's for the sake of safety, and it's true that according to physics, slower speeds means less dangerous collisions, but when cars aren't also being slowed to 15 miles an hour, that explanation smells a little fishy. Sammy's Law, a measure passed by New York State in 2023, allows New York City to set speed limits below 25 miles an hour. The city has lowered speeds on some roads, but on many others, even those in high pedestrian areas, the speed limit remains at 25 miles an hour. And not to overlook the second half of that aforementioned physics equation, mass is also a pretty big determining factor in the force created by collisions. And last time I checked, cars weigh a lot more than bikes, so I really don't think safety is the driving factor here, and the data supports my conclusion. In the first 9 months of 2024, there was 1 pedestrian injury for every 180,000 car trips. However, on the other hand, there was only 1 pedestrian injury for every 320,000 micromobility trips, motorized vehicles included. That means that despite there being 11 times more car trips than bike trips, there are almost 16 times more pedestrian injuries caused by cars as opposed to bikes. The data suggests these attacks on cycling are about convenience, for the drivers, of course. I don't want anybody to take this personally, but drivers in New York City are some of the most entitled people I've come across. Certainly not all of them, but a good chunk of the daily driving population. It's the irony of people normalizing behavior like double parking and blocking the box, but berating cyclists for taking up the full lane, and responding with aggressive behavior like dangerous passes and excessive honking. Just think of the lunacy surrounding the idea that people in one of the world's most densely populated cities, where space is at a premium, same, expect public storage facilities for their private property wherever they go. That mindset doesn't apply to anything else, but the current mayor has no issues pandering to these people. The way Adams governs, he sees it as an us versus them, similar to another high-profile U.S. politician, the president.
All I know is all my haters become my waiters when I sit down at the table of success.
But simply put, that is not how politicians achieve their constituents. You don't only represent the people who voted for you, you represent those who did not as well. And while you may not align with every single constituent's values, when it comes to issues like street safety and the environment, there are obvious choices that positively benefit a greater number of people. On the other hand, there are selfish choices you can make that only satisfy the desires of a select few. When you, for whatever reason, political, social, or financial, value their opinion more than the needs of the whole, that is wrong, and for that reason, Eric Adams will go down as one of the slimiest mayors in the history of New York.
We are the Lima of America. New York City is Mexico City of America. This is the Dublin of America, New York City.
And the cherry on top of all this, what Mayor Adams is doing might even be illegal. Mayor Adams breaking the law, who would have thought? So apparently, according to New York State Law, Chapter 71, Title 7, Article 34, Section 1242, Subdivision 3, Clause A, only the city council has the power to set speed limits for e-bikes, not the mayor. It's really sad that 42% of New Yorkers don't ride bikes because they don't feel it's safe. That means there are potentially hundreds of thousands of statistically more dangerous car trips a day, solely because New York City's cycling infrastructure is not safe enough. If they really cared about safety for all road users, they'd be doing whatever possible to get more people out of cars and onto bikes. But it seems like they're content with just scapegoating cyclists. Good thing New Yorkers are more than fed up with Eric Adams.
New York. This is a place where every day you wake up, you could experience everything from a plane crashing into our trade center.
If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, please subscribe to Micromobile. Don't forget to like this video and comment down below your thoughts. My name is Joël, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.